Okay.
Welcome the Alana Mo Show.
Oh my God.
It is technology and spirituality married. Episode 3,
I like
everyone.
I like when you do that. Like,
Married. That's the international sign for married.
married,
Is it? I'll have to look it up.
I
And
guess. I don't know.
I like your hat with
Yeah, a
the
hat. Let's talk about
lion,
the hat for a second. It's not a fashion statement.
the lion hat.
The lion
Oh
hat.
my God.
Yeah.
Covering up your dog
My
bite from
dog.
our
Yeah, and it's
dog.
not a pimple. Like, accidentally, Phoenix, our dog, made a wrong move.
He didn't make a wrong
He
move.
didn't. I made the wrong move. He
You
caught my
obviously did
chair.
something to trigger him that made him bite you on the forehead, and now you have to
He
wear
didn't bite. I think it just like
this
is
lion hat.
just yeah, that's why I have the lion hat.
I think you should wear it. You look good with
The
it.
lion hat.
Yeah, it signifies you, right? You're such a lion.
Exactly. Exactly. Yes. Yes. That's why I'm wearing it.
Yeah.
Anyway, we can jump in because I think it's a very exciting day.
Yes.
Very
Yes.
exciting. This morning, on the news, OpenAI came up with the new text to video models, basically you prompt anything you want and then you see like a videos of 30 seconds. Really fascinating stuff. So the name of this model is Sora. And maybe I'll just share
Yeah.
the
Share
screen.
your screen.
Share the
Wait.
screen.
Explain what it is again.
Yeah, it's the new large language model from OpenAI that you put prompt in text and you get like a video, like motion picture, which
So
open.
I could ask for like any video. I
Yeah,
just like,
let's see that. Let's
show
see,
me an
like I'm going to show
example.
like the prompt and the kind of quality of the video that these things produce, which is fascinating. So this is Sora. Let's go through some kind of example, right? So here in the bottom, there's a prompt. A stylish woman walks down a Tokyo street filled with warm glow neon. Look how realistic it is.
Mm.
Look at that.
So you're saying someone put this prompt
Right,
into ChatGPT?
right. It's like, well, this is not public yet, and we'll talk about it, but this is like an
Okay.
experiment that they had, and probably going to make it public.
Whose experiment is it? ChatGPT's or Sora's?
OpenAI, that Sora is the name of
Okay,
the model.
so it's so underneath of OpenAI, like ChatGPT
Yeah,
is
just like you
Sora.
have today in ChatGPT, you can create an images with DALL-E.
Yeah.
DALL-E is the models that create those images. Now you have a Sora
Yeah.
that creating videos. Look at the
Wow.
prompt, like drone view, wave crashing. This is all realistic. It's like realistic
Wow.
stuff.
Wow.
There's more. Look at that. This is like historical footage, California during the gold rush. Look at that.
Wow. I mean, this is just like making like you could make a movie like this, you can make
Yeah,
your
right.
commercial like this, marketing campaign. Like, I mean, the list is endless, but
Look at that. This is like a close-up view glass sphere that has Zen garden within it.
wow, I actually really want that.
Yeah,
I
right.
want
Like
to
pretty
have
cool.
that. That's so cute. Oh my
Look at
God.
this. Extreme close-up, 24 hours old woman, 24 years old
24-year-old
woman,
woman.
eyes blink. Look at that. This is
Wow.
AI.
Wow.
It's funny. A cartoon kangaroo
Wow.
disco dance. Look at that. This is like homemade video showing people of Lagos, Nigeria.
In 2056.
Like this is like AI people.
Wow. It is just
I want to
mind.
come like to show like one video, and I think like this is also interesting, kind of like a fly view, kind of camera following a car.
Wow. I'm getting chills from it. I can't
It
believe
is
you just
insane.
prompt
It
any
is.
video at all.
Yeah, like this is like tour of art gallery with many beautiful works art, different
Wow.
style. So
Oh, I love
yeah,
this.
you go on vacation and you just want to have some promo footage before you can just do that.
Wow.
This
When will this be out?
yeah, it's I'll mention it in a second because I think there's challenges why it's not going to be out very soon. But I want to show, and I think we're going to kick our conversation here. Okay, so
Hmm.
this is interesting, kind of like step shrinking scene of person running, cinematic film shot in 35 millimeters. You can actually, just like in Delhi, you can actually specify like the type of equipment you want to shoot it.
Wow.
And this one, this is cute. This is also cute. This is, for me, it's just like click a lot of things. So this is archaeological discovery, a generic plastic chair in the desert excavating dust with care. This is kind of a funny video.
So they excavated something.
Yeah, they found something. Look, it's funny, like you see the flaws here, like how the chair's flying around.
Yeah, yeah.
But okay, so now I'm gonna stop sharing. So the
So they're saying the chairs are like ancient,
right.
even though they're made of
So I'm
plastic.
like, oh no, that looks believable. That looks like a believable thing. Where's my Zoom? How do I stop sharing?
Right, except for the end when the chair comes alive.
Right, except well, it's gonna get better. The technology
Yeah,
gets better. But what's like really kind of like strike me is that we believing everything we see, right? Like we
yeah,
just like we see video, we're believing it. Like these, I think like there's a lot of problem in the world right now, that started because we see something that either fake news or, and especially like and as things get like more motion picture, right? So if you see fake articles, you're like, I believe it, but let me check some resources. And you see a fake picture, so you kind of start believing it, right? When you
right,
start, when you
right.
see video, fake video, it's real, right? Uh, so this is scary stuff. So I'm like, and that's why this thing's not out yet, right? Like this is right now, they kind of like, okay, this is crazy stuff. They just wait. Let's put like guardrails, see like how people can use it. Because that could be like dangerous for everything for humanity, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what do you think? What's your reaction on this?
I mean, I think it's probably already out there, not in this particular way. Like I remember you showing me a
Yeah.
video that was kind of like doctored up about something that, like what had seemed to be that maybe like Hamas had put out. And
Right.
it was something like terrible that Israelis had done. I don't remember the specifics
Well,
of
but
it.
right. That's a little different. So there is fake video, which they're also kind of dangerous, but they shoot in real life, right? They kind of like
Right, right.
reenacting something,
Right.
like
That's
fear
what they did. It
propaganda.
was like it seemed so much like you showed it to me. You were like, this in no way can be real. And it's obviously just like a setup to be a fake video, just to enrage and anger people and point a finger to a whole group of people that actually never did anything.
But
And
at least I'm saying that those videos are good. They're harder to produce, right?
yeah, they're
You need
hard
to
to
go
produce.
outside and feed actors. You need to do it.
Yeah.
You need to have production. But now
Yeah.
you can actually sit from your desk and just creating fake information that sound believable, right? So that's like
That's what I was gonna say, because now it seems like the thing that you showed me a little while ago, that
right,
already like upset a whole bunch of people, which obviously wasn't true when you looked really close and started to question it, is now just gonna be easier to produce and harder to detect.
right, right,
And so
exactly,
that's kind of my reaction. Like, I mean, I look on the one side and I feel like, wow, this is amazing. There's so many different things you
right,
can do with that, limitless possibilities artistically, creatively, with even just like creating, your own company, or having a marketing or media program for your product, and all of that is just incredible. But I think in this culture, like as we get more and more to this place where there's just more and more, it feels like polarity in the
hmm
world, as though like the wars seem to be getting worse, the disagreements seem to be getting worse, that when this thing is unleashed, it's just going to be something that is supporting the polarity.
right, exactly. I think like right, kind of like yeah, it's amazing creative tools, but before we can actually unleash it, like we need to figure it out, like understanding, right? Like we're going into election, I think next year, right? Like if
Yeah.
this tool is going to be out, we already have enough fake news
um,
in the world.
right,
But
right.
I remember seeing a video. So there's a companies that deep fake of that,
Mm,
they have this kind of technology, but
um,
it's easy to detect that it's a fake video. Like if you kind of like, a lot of
Right.
people, many
Right.
people maybe don't, but if you really, and I think that's what we need to become. We need to become very suspicious of what we're seeing, right? Like we always need to question what we're seeing, what we're hearing, right? But I remember seeing like this fake video, like it was like someone from the US government, but fake, that say like horrible things. And I
Right.
remember going to Twitter and I see like conversation, people, oh my God, I can't believe you say that. I'm like, wow, this is like
Right.
people now believing,
It's a whole storm.
it's a storm, right?
Yeah. And then
So,
everyone gets angry.
right,
I
right.
know, I know.
Like,
And so like if we have this kind of tech coming out that is seamless and it's hard to discern,
mhm,
we ourselves are going to have to be the tool of discernment.
right,
And I think it's really hard because I know that we were saying like before we were doing this video that like unfortunately it's kind of like interwoven into the fabric of our beings to feel a certain way based upon what we're seeing on the outside.
mhm,
But I think in actuality, we have to like take a moment, like when we are watching a video that is really upsetting us, even now before this is released, and it's causing us to feel, an extreme sense of anger, where we now want to go get a whole bunch of other people to watch this video and feel that kind of, I guess, anger that we also feel so they can understand and be on our side,
right,
because we feel like, well, the more people that see this and know about this and are on my side about this, the better I feel. But like, do we ever feel better?
right, right.
I wonder when
Yeah.
we're doing
Well,
that.
yeah, I think like I think we all need to wake up. Like we
Yeah.
all need to freaking wake up. Like understand that this is a different time, and I know like if I'm thinking about like how we got here to all this kind of like getting our information. So right, like in the past, I don't know. I grew up in Israel. We had like one news channel. The news channel. I don't know if like that was like that in America, but the news channel mostly they didn't tell opinion. They kind of told you fact. At least we thought they told us fact. Right?
They
That's
thought,
what's
yeah.
real, right? That's how we consume the information.
Right.
Buy
Everything is true.
newspaper.
Yeah.
It's like maybe like two or three newspaper, and they have some opinion, but like they kind of report on facts.
Yeah.
And we need to understand that that's not the case anymore, right? Like it's
Right.
about number of click and number of views, and like who's
Right.
making the most. That's the world we're living in, right? So
Yes.
now that you actually listen to the news, you need to know that you're kind of listening to opinion, and you need to question everything. So I think like we need to wake up and kind of look at all like news and fake videos, question everything, right?
Yes.
Um, so and I think that's like how we need to change, right? Like,
Yeah. The news that we're getting is meant to elicit a specific response.
but
That's the reason why we are receiving the news. We're receiving programmed information
right.
based upon what other individuals want us to
That
know.
exactly. Exactly.
Right. So every single time you see that, you have to know
Right.
I am being exposed to
Right.
something that another person wants me to know.
Right. Right.
And before I decide how I'm going to feel about it, I need to put on my own filter of remembering that it's for a specific benefit or outcome of that particular source.
Right. Right.
Now that you can ask, well, what is that source? And that source can be, like the company that's broadcasting it, and they're getting more views and more clicks because, fear sells, as they always say.
Right.
But what also, really kind of keeps our world in motion, sadly, is fear. Because when we are polarized and we're angry all of the time, then we want to fight
Right.
and we want to be in a war
Right.
because we don't know what else to do with that anger that we have, because we want to claw back what we think has been taken from us, when in actuality, there's no proof that the things that we're fighting for are things that we even really care about.
Right.
And
Exactly. Yeah.
So when you think about, well, what is the source of the news? Like, peel it all the way back
To the people that has the agenda that actually
the people that
started.
have the agenda. And any person I ever talk to about this kind of a thing, they'll say, first off, they'll say they're on a side, they've chosen a side, they feel good about their side. But then when we get to the point of talking about how, like, for example, like the war that's happening in Israel, where, you have people who, everyone's born human, right? Everyone's born the same.
Yep.
But everyone gets programmed that you need to believe a certain thing. So, there are folks on one side that have a belief that I can't feel God unless I'm living in this land. Right. And then you have like these other folks who were also raised to say, well, I was born in this land, so this land belongs to me. They just have a belief that was instilled within them. But yet, as they get older, I can tell you that there are folks that are fighting this fight, which there is a part of them that are like, I kind of don't really care about this land, but I'm fighting this fight because I was raised this way. And if I don't do it, then I'm kind of rejected by my society. And I know that that's happening on both sides. And when you start to have these conversations and you say, well, in actuality, all of these wars are happening because it benefits not the people that are fighting. Like, no one feels benefited by it because we've been doing the same thing over and over again for centuries and centuries, and never is getting done. But the people that are really benefiting by it are like this really small top 1% that are sitting back, not doing the fighting. And for the purposes of, like, power over the world, where they can be comfortable and have us in a place of fear and control, and they're completely supported. And if you peel it back even further, we'll be shocked to find out that those individuals actually span the countries that are fighting one another. That's how much we can peel this back, and how much we're actually being used like batteries to fight a fight that most of us aren't even sure matters anymore.
Yeah. I think like it's like we're talking about the conflict in Israel. We talked about that like it's definitely driven from that, right? There's an agenda somewhere of someone, both sides, could be, that a lot of us, like, on autopilot, and they kind of believing, oh, they did that and they did that, and I need to believe, I need to feel that this land is mine, and they don't really think, why they doing it. I think everybody's searching for happiness, right? And when you suppress and you kind of like feel like that you're the victim, then it's easy to fight, and I think, like, I know, talking about the conflict of Israel, very close to me, I know who's on the other side. There's a lot of good people on the other side. We have neighbors from the other side. When I was in the army, I was like very close to them. I know what they want. Right? They want to really live peace. Most of them want to live in peace. But because of misinformation, they start to kind of like, okay, I think I should feel this way. I should be angry. I should be the victim, and I should just like go and do crazy things. And that's why, going back to like this kind of technology, it's going to make it even harder.
Yes. And it's like, if you even think of like, how could a group of beautiful human beings that lived in the 30s and 40s in Germany be turned into hating one entire group of people and blaming an entire group of people to the point that they should be nearly exterminated?
Right.
It's because they were made to believe that those were the people that were responsible for them not having enough.
Right.
Because they were in a place of suffering. They were in a place of not having enough food, of not having shelter, of not having, medical care. And they said, well, it's the Jews' fault.
Right.
And in that circumstance, when you're being fed that kind of information, you can actually start to believe it. And as a group, turn on an entire other group of humans. And when you're in that place, it's so easy to control people then. And so when we are being fed this information, which is so often misinformation.
Hmm.
It keeps us in that place of fear and of anger just by being polarized, so that it's so much easier for us to be controlled. Because when we're heads down and in kind of like this fear-based management system, we will kind of do essentially what we're told to do and not ask any questions. And this is the whole thing. We need to start questioning everything. We need to start actually asking ourselves if we really believe in all of this murdering on an ongoing basis that has never yielded any result. I mean, the sheer definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and trying, expecting to get a different result. And we never do.
Yeah. So, you mentioned like, okay, the solution is like individual solution, right? It's like
Mhm.
we need to start, questioning everything. But that's like putting the responsibilities on the individual, which I think when you're in it, it's really hard to see beyond that, right? So what is
The
the
only way.
right? That's okay. So
I think it's the only way. I think it's
that's the
going to
only
come down to the individual and how much the individual honors how they feel. Because when you've been made sick and angry by an image that you saw or a video that you saw, the only person that's suffering is you.
yeah, like I think it's easy to say, but like if I'm thinking about right, think about your parents, right? They've they kind of like in the news all the time and kind of consume information with all those channels and right, they don't question a lot of those things, right? Uh,
No,
how do you kind of how do you transform them to like okay, like not them specifically, but like
right. You can't just transform everyone.
get right. It's like
The
because
answer is
if I'm thinking
no.
about like you mentioned Germany, the only positive story about Germany is that they were able to transform immediately, right? Like unfortunately they had 5 million German died, but like it wasn't too long ago that it happened. It's only like I think now fourth generation. So there's still people that live in that time that's still alive, right? But they turn around really quickly, right? As I said, like it caused a lot of death, but they were able to change the way they're thinking. So what needs really to happen? Catastrophic event, like something needs to, we need to kill all, like everybody needs to kill each other until we're like sick of it.
Right, we
Is
all
that
need to die.
or
Or
like just like having like a massive, there's just like World War II or World War III to
so
happen for us to understand it?
when you see an image that upsets you, right, and you get to this place of feeling an extreme sense of anger or fear or rage, and you're staying in that pretty much all the time because you're bombarded with those images. Let's face it, some people are watching it all day
Right.
long.
Yeah.
What's happening is the folks that are just like benefiting from this like this war, like that top 1%, like who
Mhm.
have like who are just having this happen for the purposes of like power over us so they can lead a really comfortable life.
Mhm.
They're winning.
Right. Right.
They're winning. You're actually giving them what they want. So power over that top 1% is being the subjective watcher of anything that comes at you that right away takes you out from your birthright, which is to feel joy.
Mhm.
That's the reason why we're here,
Right.
right? We are here to feel joy. So if I can watch something and I can say, okay, regardless as to whether or not that's true, I think that's a really crappy thing that's happening. And unfortunately, I cannot control it, whether or not it's true. I can try to donate, I can try to send resources, but I can tell you the most powerful thing that I can do is allow myself not to get upset and to get into a neutral space about it and be the subjective viewer of it. Because when I am the subjective viewer of it, what I can do is I can choose how I want to feel instead.
Right.
And that is the most powerful way that we would all transform individually and then collectively, because all of that is just vibration that comes out of our heart center. So
Right.
when I'm doing that, if enough of us do that, we can transform the world. Because what we forgot is that the folks that are fighting, the folks that we think are our enemies, were also born human, and that they were also born with the ability to feel love and to feel joy. But it's been so trained out of them that they can't feel that way until they kill people or get back, the land that they think is lost, that they don't know that they can actually feel it just right now.
I understand that, but I think this is like a slow process, because I think in order to get to that point, you need to be enlightened. You need to kind of not enlightened, but you need to like, okay, I want to change the way I feel. I'm gonna go through this transformation. I'm gonna seek things like more meaningful thing from land, or like I'm talking about like the majority of the people that they born into it, right? They're born into this hate, like 5 years old, you need to hate those people, like how we're gonna be again, like we don't have to have an answer because like I don't know if there is real answer, but like
So
okay.
if you, as a human on this earth, so let's say when I'm in meditation,
Hmm.
right? I meditate on love. And I send that feeling out to everyone I know, to everyone in my community, my neighborhood, and then to the entire world. And I send it out to everyone that's even murdering people.
Hmm.
Because within some of those, now, we're all connected, we're all one, right? There's a measurable, electromagnetic energy field that circles the earth that
Yeah.
connects us all. So vibrationally, just by sending out that vibration of love, even to folks that are on the other side of the world, they can actually receive that vibration. Now, some of those folks, it won't fall on them at all.
Hmm.
And I guess it's not supposed to,
Yeah.
because potentially that's the karma that they chose.
Right.
Some of those folks might actually feel something within them that is resonating with what I'm sending them.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying, because like I totally believe in, connect, we all connected,
Yeah.
we all one, and like sometimes me and you kind of going and we smiling like to people, right?
Yeah.
And kind of spreading love just for no reason, and you can feel like, the person just like you change his day just because you smile at him. So I think
Yes.
like, maybe yeah, that's all we can do, right? Just like spreading love and sending love. But I do see how it could be impactful, right? And as you say, like maybe
Yeah.
some people don't need to, they're not supposed to learn it, right?
They're not all supposed to learn it, but of the ones that are able to feel something inside of them that matches what I'm sending them, it's because it already lives within them. And some of them might recognize that that's something that they want to make bigger. And
Yeah.
then that's what they want to become instead. And they can actually start to questioning why they're doing what they're doing. Because that's what we need. We need the fighters to be questioning why they're actually even fighting. Because if they can actually access love, which is God, already inside of them prior to taking over land that they've been told this thing on the outside will make you feel this way. if they can feel it on their own, if enough of us can do this on a regular basis, we would shift the energy of the entire world. And I think that this is why this is happening, because we've forgotten that all of that we're looking for already resides inside of us. Nothing on the outside can ever give us that sense of joy and peace and love unless we allow it to. And just by us allowing that feeling, that just means that we actually own it.
Yeah. It's funny, like you say that, and it just happened to me, like kind of related but not related. When you say like the happiness is from the inside, not from the outside. So I was like looking, my social feed, like this person, she's saying like, oh, I made I used to make $200,000 a week. I was excited. Now I do. I'm not excited about it anymore. Now I need to
Right.
make $1 million a week. And I was like, okay, no. It's like you're never going to find the happiness outside. Like you're chasing something that you cannot even you can have. So
Yeah.
when you say that, I'm like, ah, yeah, exactly. Like, and she's like, yeah, like she's chasing something that cannot even catch, and
Right. You never catch it.
never catch it.
You
Like
never catch
you
it.
have to be happy
Yeah.
from the inside, and you
Yes.
can make like $1,000 in a week versus like 100,000. You're gonna be happier than the other person. And I
100%.
think that's the goal, right? Like the goal is like, how can you be happy now, and not waiting. And that's related actually to, because like all of that, all this conflict, they think that there's something from the outside going to make them happy,
Right.
right? The land, the like to kick everybody's out, like that. No, like everybody, like,
All the money and the riches, whatever you're gonna get
yeah,
once this
all
war's
the land, the
over. Yeah.
riches, like all these things that you think you believe in, that you need to own, and that's not going to make you happy. So
No.
I hope like people's going to realize that, I think that's like when they realize that, nothing from the outside is going to make you happy, and the reason might be like you asking from the outside to be happy because you're not like actually happy from the inside, right?
This is it. There's even a theory called adaptation theory
Mm.
that, like whatever it is that we
Right.
achieve or buy, we just get used to it, which is why we always need more. So, like, for example, if I buy like a new sports car, first get the sports car, I don't let my kids in the car, I want to like keep it super clean. It's my fancy car. 6 months
Right.
later, they're like eating pizza in the backseat.
Right. Exactly.
We just get used to stuff. Like, like I'll buy like a really fancy shirt and it's dry clean only, and I'm like, don't touch my shirt, it's like super fancy. Don't put it in the
Mhm.
wash. Six
Right.
months later, I put it in the wash.
Right. Exactly.
Then
Exactly.
we have to get more, and then we have to work harder for
It's
it.
everywhere, Yeah,
Yeah,
every place. That's a different conversation, but
yeah, it's a whole other.
retirement, for example, right?
Yeah,
Like we're working our life to retirement because it's something that's the goal, right? Like
yeah.
we need to like, and then I'm sure like most people that get to retirement is like, what, that's it? What else? Like
I know, I know. That's it.
that's it? Like
And
that's like,
people then they get miserable
then they
and
get
die.
miserable, right? So
That's our next podcast. Yes,
that's
we
the
were
next part of
our
retirement
next.
because it's
There's a
like,
little teaser for that.
um,
If we start to realize that sharing love, right,
mhm.
and sharing joy, which is essentially the meaning of unity, feels so much better than death and destruction over things that will never make us happy. It's
Right.
really simple concepts. We would be able to again transform the energy of this earth, because like at a human level, like any person I ever talk to about this, they're all like, yeah, that sounds actually amazing. I
Yeah.
want that. No person's like, nope. We have to remember that, Earth is Earth, like it doesn't belong to anyone, and yet it belongs to everyone, so the whole concept of us all living in community, which is unity all brought together as a whole, is to be able to enjoy the beauty of what we've been gifted. We were just born here to have, kind of like this temporary human experience. And when we are able to transcend kind of like all of this darkness with what we already have, kind of like built with the technology inside of us, we are living our purpose. This is the human game, to be able to look at something that would normally have taken us down and actually make a decision in real time to transcend it and choose an elevated emotion instead. That's human mastery, so why not start to live? And this is, kind of like the whole new earth conversation that people have been having. This is what the new earth is about, because when you're living that way on a regular basis, that's how you manifest, which is
Yeah.
another podcast. But that's how you're living in an optimal state of physical well-being. Your body is, has like a heightened state of immunity. You can like reverse your gene code. That's like yet another podcast. We don't even realize how powerful we are when we don't allow the outside to influence us, and we choose how we want to feel instead, because perspective is the only thing that we have control over, how we feel. And that was the first, when I first got into all this, you had sent me that talk that Sadhguru had did. What is the one thing that we have control over? How we feel.
Right. Right. Yeah, I think it's amazing that we started with like the most amazing tech,
Yeah.
Sora, And then we landed on self-love and you know.
Yeah.
But
Tech
that's
and spirituality. Married.
very
All right, guys.
great. Yeah. All right.
Great seeing
Great seeing you.
audience that we can't physically see, but we know you're out there. We thank you for watching, subscribing, and liking.
Okay. Bye-bye.